week.
I'm ready to. Oh, should I just crush it? Oh no. Oh no.
You're right. I brought that from South Florida.
What are you trying to say?
Respect it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Good. Because, all right. I'm just gonna leave that. Let's get into this.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right.
We're going back to the farm, Adam.
Are we?
We might.
Okay.
I mean, I know the fuck I am. You know how much money I sunk into this fucking waiting for this shit to come back?
$300 some odd.
$400 when you count tax and delivery. It's like $407.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to Bonnaroo. Applause.
Yeah. Confetti.
I mean, for us, that's a very awkward pause. For the people, it'll be a nice round of applause. The world is slowly but surely going back to normal.
Yeah. Right.
Quote unquote. And I tell you what, man, these businesses and these live performing centers and entertainment and everything. Everyone is just fucking shaking with adrenaline.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the world back to.
Is it time?
Yeah. And I was genuinely surprised to see that Bonnaroo's back on set. They're actually going to do it.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Bonnaroo's the first major festival that came out with like an official lineup and announcement like this.
As far as I know, the first one that I saw personally was 3 Points in Miami.
Okay.
And the only reason I bring up 3 Points is because they usually get like good artists. Like their headliners are like
pretty eclectic,
pretty big names. I think the Strokes were there one year, and
LCD Sound System.
Strokes, LCD. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So when you can pull those guys as like a headliner, I think you deserve to be put up there with the rest of them. EDC released their lineup, I think, at the same time as Bonnaroo
for
almost the same
Vegas,
time.
Or is it
for Vegas? Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got EDC, you've got 3 Points, and now you've got good old Bonnaroo, the farm. We're going back.
The
kids.
farm.
We're going back, kids. And so here's the thing. It is a sign of the times to see a music festival with this many artists. You know, everyone is kind of anticipating that we'll stay on this same track, barring anything crazy happening in the next 5 months, that the world will be at a place where thousands of people can congregate in the same area.
Yeah, and in a festival that's known for high fives.
Yeah, you literally...
Can you imagine touching another stranger's hand?
At this point, I can imagine doing it, but after every interaction, just having like a key, or not a keychain, but like a lanyard with hand sanitizer. Yeah.
I would feel radioactive. I would literally feel radioactive. I would have like a high five hand, and that's all I would do with it.
Oh,
you know,
that's actually not a bad idea. An actual, just.
Or what if you have like just a sticky overlay, like it's rubber or plastic on top of your hand?
I like it.
Right after.
Or you have like one of those sticky hand rope things that you just keep slapping people with.
Yep. And it's hairy by the end of the day somehow.
Even though it's only touched people's palms, it still has a bunch of lint and hair on it.
It finds a way. And ceiling kernels.
Yeah.
Somehow. the popcorn.
And it's stuck to a carpet that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that and we've got more. But before we can get into any of that, first, my boy, my dear friend, we got to get into these beers. So, Adam, please tell the people what we're drinking tonight.
I'm so glad you asked. We have from Sideward Brewing the Prey on Insanity India Pale Ale. It doesn't have an ABV on it. I will look it up for you guys, and I'll reveal that after the break. Unfortunately, like many of the Sideward brews, no cold read. Disappointing, but we'll applaud the art.
As always. So my name is Marco Dupa, and that guy right there is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, brewskis?
And this is episode 305 of the One Beer In podcast.
Good.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
Oh,
They are.
oh,
They're pints. So.
okay. Well, okay.
Well, you made a choice. That's okay.
I made a choice.
Why not?
Fuck it. Yeah, I made a choice, and I'm sticking with it.
All right, so everybody knows it's a 6.2% ABV. This was released recently for their, what is it, third anniversary?
Second anniversary.
Second anniversary. Congratulations, Sideward. You're
Congratulations,
doing the Lord's
Sideward.
work.
Ironically, because of all the
Yeah.
iconography. And
Satanic iconography.
yeah, shout out to Lil Nas X.
Right.
So, episode 305 of the One Baron podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew, and we see where that one brew takes us. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We're so happy you could be here this week or any other week that you decide to listen to this episode. Now, let's get into it. We've got a lot to discuss. First and foremost, we have to, as we always do, as we've been going to Bonnaroo the Festival, we have to discuss the lineup.
Of course.
So let's just crack open, Daddy. Let's get into it. What are we going to get to see?
All right. I'll go headliners and then people I know.
Okay.
Okay?
I like it.
Let me know if you see, you can look over my shoulder. Let me know if I'm missing anyone that you know that you're interested in.
Okie doke.
So the headliner, Thursday obviously is a setup day. Usually, pretty low key.
Yeah.
Not a lot of huge headliners. They have the Grand Ole Opry there
Yeah.
with quote unquote special guests, which, we don't know who that is currently. But other than that, couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you who's on Thursday. I haven't heard of these people. Maybe I'm just old. But yeah.
Same.
Thursday. That's fine. That's fine.
Hey, that's a Thursday.
That's what Thursday's for. Thursday's for getting your camp set up, getting comfy, and maybe going to a show that you don't know who the artist is, but you're there for the experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Friday.
Thursdays are fun.
Friday. Headliners. Foo Fighters. Megan Thee Stallion.
They're not fucking around, okay?
They're not.
Friday. First day where big names are, and they're like, how about the Foo Fighters? How about one of the biggest MCs in the game right now?
Yeah.
How about that?
Sounds like a good time. Run the Jewels. Janelle Monáe. Glass Animals. Deftones. Young Thug. Nelly.
I can't believe he's not top billing.
Really?
I mean, I can believe that he's not a headliner.
Yeah.
But at least one of the purple names.
Yeah. That second level, I would think he
You
could
would-
at least be on there. Orville Peck.
Orville Peck.
Shout out.
Finally get to see Orville Peck live. I've been wanting to see him.
I know.
Forever.
I know. And you know what? Honestly, we probably could have in 2020 if, we weren't living in a panini.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He would have been touring. You
I
would
think
expect.
he definitely would have come here, and that would have been a good time.
Yeah. That's it for me on this one.
I know there was, let's see, Big Bulge.
There are some other names I know, but nobody I'm interested in.
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday headliners: Lizzo and Tame Impala. I mean, again,
come on.
What are you gonna
do? I mean, it's just that's gonna be both of those shows are just gonna be so killer.
Yeah. Then we have My Morning Jacket, Jason Isbell, Phoebe Bridgers.
You skip G-Eazy.
I don't want G. I'm sorry.
Skip right over him.
I don't want G-Eazy. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so funny, dude.
Incubus, King Gizzard, Mark Ribier, Jid.
Oh, dude, when I found out that he's gonna be there, I was like, I'm bringing nothing but a robe.
That was, I mean, you have to.
I'm doing it.
From 2020, that was one of the names that I'm like, I'm so pumped to see him live. It's gonna be a good time.
Can't wait.
Then we move on. Anyone else? Anyone else? Am I missing anyone? From your...
Jid.
I got Jid.
I think.
That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
So then Sunday we have Tyler the Creator, Lana Del Rey, Lil Baby, Deadmau5, Leon Bridgers, Brittany Howard.
Brittany Howard, man, come on.
Oh yeah, incredible. And again, that's pretty much it for me. But I mean, even so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to Young the Giant, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Flogging Molly.
I've heard of Oliver Tree too, I think.
Yeah. From what I've seen, the one thing that a lot of people are mad about is there's not enough EDM, not enough house music.
Yeah, they cut I think a handful of big EDM people from 2020.
Yeah, it's a very pop oriented lineup.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, call a spade a spade. These are big names. They're not going outside the norm.
Which has kind of been from what I've seen the past, I don't know, 3 years have kind of been. It hasn't been super wide. It's been, especially headliners, a lot of very, very pop oriented, I don't know. I wouldn't say middle of the road, but like mass appeal artists.
I think because
Such as
Bonnaroo,
U2.
Bonnaroo, yeah.
Right?
I think Bonnaroo is so known for being, you know, kind of off the beaten path. You know, when it first started, it was this kind of counterculture thing that was against the grain.
Yeah.
And you got to see more
Jam bands.
Yeah. And now it's I mean, the jammiest thing is the Grand Old Opry. Sorry, Grand Old Opry. The Grand Old Opry. On Thursday, that's probably the most jam.
Yeah, and
thing.
I'm sure there's a couple of artists within that first day, and like maybe spattered within that are more of like traditional jam bands, like you know, maybe some psychedelic stuff.
Yeah,
and we just don't know them because they are smaller bands.
Yeah, but these headliners are, I mean, literally the biggest names in indie music right now. Except for Megan Thee Stallion and Lizzo, or just straight up pop stars.
And Foo Fighters.
Right, yeah, Foo Fighters. Yeah. I mean, Tyler, Lana Del Rey, and then all of these sub-headliners are all basically just the biggest names in indie music.
Yep.
Period. And, yeah, so they're not really going outside the beaten path. I guess the choices aren't interesting, but this is their 20th anniversary, and by God, every one of those names is like, this is just going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Like, say what you want about the Foo Fighters, and much has been said about them. I have said this, and I stick to it.
Okay.
The Foo Fighters are probably the best rock band since I would say.
I'm about to disagree with you.
Listen, just hear me out for a second, okay?
All right.
The best rock band since the 90s. And what I mean by rock band is what they do is straight up, no holds barred, no bullshit, no frills, rock music.
Yeah.
Every other band that you can probably name, you can just probably rattle off 20 names. I can tell you, like, well, they're an indie band. They're great because they do all of these things and bring them together and do this, that, and the other thing. But think about the big bands before we got weird in the 80s.
Yeah, so you're saying they're a relic, which I agree with.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
They are the Kiss of our generation.
Yes. They make straight up rock.
It's rock.
It's rock music.
It's just rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to call it dad rock or yacht rock. It's just straight up rock and roll.
Well, it's only dad rock because when they were big, it was the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And those people are now dads.
Right. Right.
So that's the only reason why it's called dad rock.
Yeah.
I mean, true dad rock is something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I mean. And if you listen to like the Foo Fighters' greatest hits, you're not going to find a bad song.
No,
you're going to find
no.
stuff that, you listen to their albums and be like, this kind of sucks. But you can't listen to their greatest hits and tell me that's not going to be full of at least 10 bangers on it.
Which, I mean, I don't want to be painted as a Foo Fighters hater here, okay?
I don't know. You were ready to hate.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
seeing Foo Fighters on this list initially as a headliner, it doesn't even get me as excited as seeing like U2 on the headliners list.
It is a sore thumb.
It is.
When you look at the rest of those names.
It's only because, like, I haven't cared about the Foo Fighters in 10 years, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe longer.
Yeah. Well, they make inconsequential music. They just haven't done anything with any dick and balls. No risk. Nothing interesting. They've just.
It's kind of boring, but I will say this: the only thing they need to do is play their hits.
Yes.
And they have so many hits.
Yes.
And on top of that, I mean, I can't say from experience, but they seem like such a great live band to see.
Yeah.
Like a good time.
Yeah.
Which is all you need.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect energy to bring into this year's Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
It's just, let's have fun.
I think that is the point of this year's Bonnaroo. And I think that that's why, some people are going to be upset with the headliners, but I think that what they're going for is we're trying to have as much fun as possible. We're just trying to show people a good time this year. Like 20th anniversary, it's a celebration. The world is back to normal, whatever that's going to mean in September. Mm-hmm. And we want people to just enjoy themselves. So we're going to, we're just bringing out the hits.
Right.
And I mean, they've pretty much covered the gamut, man.
Yep.
They've gone across the board with it. So it's very, very exciting because it's like, it's just a glimpse into some semblance of normalcy that we've all just become so accustomed to how the world is right now. And as humans, we just so quickly become accustomed to our current situations. You know what I mean? Like you drop a human in a cave and you're like,
we adapt.
So we improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Exactly. Survive.
And it's impressive, and it's also kind of sad how quickly a person will go, well, this is life, and I have to make the best of it, which it's a good thing, but it's also, it sucks.
Yeah.
And so seeing this is kind of like a ray of hope.
It is. Also, though, I couldn't help but, because let's preface this by saying we bought tickets for 2020, which obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we had the choice to either get a refund or to hold on to it for next year, right? So, just to let you in on my story, I planned on getting the refund because, like you said, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just not knowing where we were going to be in a year's time, I was like, I could use that money in my pocket. Worst case scenario, they have a good lineup. This thing's gone. All right, I'll buy another ticket. Not a big deal. But I can use that money right now.
Yeah.
And then I find out Bonnaroo has like a month window that you had to do the refund within. I'm like, okay, well, missed that. So, I was pissed off for a minute, but then, I realized if anything, I can always sell my ticket because it's going to be an event that people want to go to.
Yeah.
Right. So I still have mine. You still have yours, right? So seeing this, I'm both excited, but then also thinking about it in a realistic manner. In today's world, I'm still going to feel super paranoid about safety, especially considering I'm immunocompromised. Is this a smart thing for me to go to? I really want to, but should I this year? Or should I give it another year to kind of, let things settle down a bit more? So that's kind of the crossroads I'm at. How are you feeling about like health measures and the general where's the world going to be when this, because it's going to be in September is when Bonnaroo is this year. Mm-hmm. So how do you think we're going to be? Do you think it's going to be? Are you going to feel safe enough to have a good time? Are you going to want to wear a mask? Are you going to wear your sanitizer lanyard? How are you picturing this? Because I know, like, I initially am just clouded by seeing that this is happening right now.
Yeah.
But then there's that little thing in the back of my head going, but you know, should ya? Is it safe, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this. If this was a month from now, I would have sold my ticket.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm not going to that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be shoulder to shoulder with that many people.
No, we're not New Zealand. Sorry.
Yeah. But I will say also, you know, 6 months from now, I am I'm cautiously optimistic that we will be at a place where you do certain things, you be smart about certain things, and this will be possible.
Okay.
But it is scary because it is a lot of money, and the closer we get to the date, the more that you have to commit. You can't be on the fence about something because a lot of things go into doing this. It's not,
it's a whole road trip, and then also you camp out there. Most people do.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's more than just like, okay, you know, we'll go to the show for a day.
Right.
No, it's a 4-day excursion.
I have to take out of work.
It's essentially a full week.
Yeah.
That we have to take off to, you know, fill that space to get there, get back.
Yeah, and you can't
everything in between.
You can't just day of be like, I don't know. Yeah, and then just not go.
You do have to commit, and I think that's what I'm afraid of. Is that a deeper issue? I don't know. We'll see.
So, yeah, I mean, that is definitely still a concern. I mean, as soon as the list dropped, I was like, oh wow, they're actually pulling the trigger on this.
Yeah.
They must be really hopeful that in the next 5 to 6 months we'll be at a place where this is possible.
Yeah. And I mean, we're seeing stuff open up more. I was just talking to you about Sideward actually having their inside seating open again, which was
shout out to Sideward.
Yeah, which was surprising, but you know, really comforting to see because it'd been closed forever.
It almost seemed like, do you even need this building?
The inside seating? I don't know.
Just slice that whole thing and just have the brewery area and the kitchen and call it a day.
But we're seeing small steps like that happening, which is great. Now we are also simultaneously seeing a bit of a spike because that's happening.
Yeah, because people are just so impatient and they're looking at, you know, one door opens and they're like, why aren't all these doors open? And they just start kicking fucking doors open. And
Let me breathe in your mouth.
Windows. Please no. So, I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do as Americans.
Yeah, clearly.
You know? And yeah, that's troublesome for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the road is going to be fraught with bumps and hiccups and stuff. I'm just hoping that we stay on a, you know, consistent path.
Yeah.
That, I mean, they're talking about, I mean, by the time September hits, anybody who wanted a vaccine will have had one.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, I don't want to generalize, but Bonnaroo is made up of a lot of like-minded individuals.
Sure.
I think
there's a sect of like ultra hippie, let's take herbs for this.
Yeah, definitely. That's a concern.
Yeah, a little bit.
People who are like, you know, as long as I meditate, it can't touch me. I'll just think it away.
Yeah.
So, but then you also have to think like the world is made up of that.
Sure.
I mean, we're living at a time currently where, I mean, let's take COVID out of the equation for a moment. I mean, we're living with people who believe that vaccines will make their kids autistic and that to them is a death sentence.
Right.
Worse than an actual death sentence.
Yeah.
And so we're living in that reality currently.
Right.
You know, we
have been.
Yeah. We're vaccinated, but we live amongst people who feel that, and you have to imagine that the past Bonnaroos that we've been to have
We're
been
full
made
of
up
those
of
people. Yeah, that's true.
And you're vaccinated. By the time this rolls around, I'll definitely have done it. Once it opens up to, the general public, I'll be first in line. So I'm like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic that we're at a place now that 6 months from now, not that COVID will not be a concern, but that people will be at a place where we've managed it. And I hate to even utter those kinds of words, because we thought this same way at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah. It feels almost foolish to think this way.
Yeah.
To have hope.
So I don't want to sound foolish, but I also right now have no reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I'm very curious to see what happens when we have that state of the country in which everyone who wants the vaccine can get it, and everyone who can get it does get it. What happens to the pandemic then? Do we see it just disappear?
Yeah.
And suddenly no more COVID? Or does it remain this thing that we have to worry about
year after year
for another 5 years or infinitum?
Yeah, or is it the thing like every year you get a flu vaccine,
your COVID vaccine?
You get your COVID vaccine.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, and here's the thing: if it became that wouldn't be a big deal. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. People always like a lot, like detractors, anti-maskers, and all these conspiracy theorists. They say they want to bring up the flu, and it's not as bad as the flu, and blah blah blah. That was one of the first defenses of not caring about it, right?
Yeah.
Every single year, flu season rolls around, and every commercial, every time you go to Publix pharmacy,
get your flu shot.
Every time you talk to a friend in the medical field, it's like, have you got your flu shot yet? You should probably get a flu shot. Mm-hmm. And you can choose to do it or not, and that's the end of it. That's the end of the conversation. Then you get the flu. If you don't get the vaccine, you could get the flu or not get the flu. You could be careful. It's your life choice. That's how these things have gone.
Yeah.
And if COVID becomes just one of those things, we just normalize it and move on.
It's only scary because it is new. I feel like people are afraid of that becoming a new reality. But it's just so stupid to.
It's not stupid to worry about that. It's stupid to be afraid of that being our future. Because we manage these things, we deal with them and we make the best of them. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of this. Is humans,
a lot of faith in humanity.
I know.
No, but it's true. It's true. I think that we do definitely adapt to whatever's given to us as best we can. Mm-hmm. The majority of us. Some people are stubborn. I think it's built into the American experience and our generalized personality of Americans as being individualists and wanting to go against the grain and wanting to be our own people. Not necessarily a bad thing intrinsically, but when it's about the greater good, we go, yeah.
Oh yeah, there ain't no such thing as the greater good.
No.
That's what this ultimately. That's what the pandemic has shown me, is that there is no such thing as the greater good.
It inconveniences me. I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
Who are you? Who's that guy? Fuck you and him.
Which is so funny because we unilaterally did that after 9/11.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
We let the government completely invade our privacy.
Yeah.
Surveil us like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that Pandora's box was open, and we allowed it. We welcomed it.
Yeah. I just want to say, for the record, in 2006, 2007, I made a song about the Patriot Act and how bad it was. I just want to say that.
Okay.
When I was 15, 16, I was ahead of the curve on that.
Third eye open.
My pineal gland is not calcified. Let me just say that. Your boy was woke before woke was even a thing.
If only Bush listened. If only he listened.
He listened to me.
Anyway, so Bonnaroo looks cool. is what we're trying to get at.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. I mean, let's think about it. Let's think about it in the most positive terms possible. Let's say everything goes to plan. Everyone is either vaccinated, or if you're not vaccinated, you don't go, hopefully. Or you you've already had it and you're immune, or what have you. Whatever.
You stay home if you're sick.
You stay home if you're sick.
You go home if you're sick.
Mm-hmm. And let's say all things through God are possible, right?
Right.
Think about that, man. Being back on the farm. Mark Ribier is improvising on his loop machine. He's got nothing but draws on and a silk robe. And you're right there.
Sweating profusely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, trying to be as positive as possible. I'm looking at this as hopefully if I can remain in the right headspace.
Yeah.
And there's no accounting for the next 6 months and where my life is going to be and where my mental space is going to be. Right now, I feel like I want to use Bonnaroo as like that'll be my reward for staying on track health-wise.
Yeah.
Because I just want to be out there with like no clothes on, basically.
Okay.
I just want to walk around with no clothes on, silk robe,
Right.
and hair flowing, and nothing else.
Okay.
That's how I want to be. Free.
Can we be the naked long hair bros?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please.
Perfect.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait. I would love to do that.
Coming around to this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, what if we bring some mobile equipment and record an episode out there?
I remember when we did go, floating that idea around of us doing a mobile cast, even if it's just on a phone.
Yeah, did we shoot it down? Or did it just kind of fall to the wayside? I don't remember being negative about an idea like that.
I think someone had too many gummies, let's say, and it just never came to fruition. Got a tummy ache,
yeah,
had to take a nap.
Uh-huh.
I think that's probably what happened about that one.
Just a pepperoni slice of a gummy.
Yeah. Yeah, those homemade gummies or something else.
Yeah.
Looks like a sliced kielbasa.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're in a different place. We're different people.
We are.
And our equipment is more sophisticated. And I believe that barring anything crazy happening, we could do it.
I think so.
It could be done.
Okay.
We get some either wireless hand mics or some lab mics.
Yeah. We can all gas, no brakes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I've got
Okay.
the camcorder or this one. Hopefully by then I think we should have one more camera by then.
We're going to do our best.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ruminate on it.
Ruminate.
We'll see how things go for the rest of the year. I still have my ticket. So, everything goes well, we'll be on the farm.
Our time and our clothes got to ruminate.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Shout out to Ludacris, the worst rapper actor of all time.
That can't be true. Somebody has to be worse.
Who's worse? We had this conversation.
I know.
Who's worse?
I know.
Think about it. I'll give you a second to think about it while I pull up the next topic.
Is T.I. worse?
Yeah, T.I.'s worse.
Uh-huh.
T.I. is a terrible actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even think
He's
about
been
him.
in lower quality projects as well.
But he's been in enough projects that warrants him being in the conversation of being a actor.
Well, that's exactly my point, is that he didn't make it to a Fast and Furious series.
No.
Was it Roll Bounce?
Yeah, he was in Roll Bounce. He was in Takers. That's the one that I think of the most.
Okay.
Because heist film, probably one of the worst heist films I've ever seen.
Right.
Really disappointed because other than Hayden Christensen, you've got Idris Elba, you've got Matt Dillon, Chris Brown, which I wasn't excited about Chris Brown being in the movie. There's one more person. Paul Walker? Is it
And
Paul
Takers?
Walker?
And Takers.
Yeah, look up the cast of
Look
Takers.
up the cast of Takers.
And I watched Takers, and this is early on in my Paul Walker. Michael Ealy, that was the
Michael
other
Ealy, yep.
brother that I was thinking of. T.I.,
Jay
Matt
Hernandez, Zoe Saldana.
Dillon. Oh, Zoe Saldana. What a beaut. What a talent.
That's about it for the big names.
Yeah. It's not a good movie, guys. You don't need to see it. Don't let anybody tell you like, oh man, Chris Brown was in Takers. It's not a good movie.
28% Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, do I need to say more?
Need I
say more? There's so many good heist films out there. I mean, shit. If you want to watch a heist movie with people that you like in it, watch Den of Thieves. Also not a great movie, but better than Takers.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Jason Statham movie?
Fuck yeah, I have. Fuck yeah. Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham.
Reverse heist film.
Yes.
I saw it and was like, I gotta ask Mark about this.
Oh my God. I watched that. The Wrath of Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that fucking movie, dude.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. Jason Statham in another action movie.
It looks awesome. Just, I mean, the guy knows how to shoot a gun.
Yeah.
And he looks good doing it.
One-handed.
Mm-hmm. That made me want to watch Guy Ritchie's most recent film, The Gentleman.
Yes, me too.
I haven't seen it yet,
Me
but
neither.
I really, really want to watch it.
Yeah, here it's a little racist, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You have to expect that in like any kind of white mob movie,
Yeah.
right?
I think so. I mean, you watch a movie like even The Godfather. It's
Of course.
racist as fuck.
Of course.
Goodfellas. I mean, every white mob movie, you
Yeah.
have to expect a little bit of racism. Maybe a lot of racism.
Mm-hmm.
They're not good people. That's the thing. You
That's
watch these
the
movies.
point.
They're not heroes.
That's the point.
You're not rooting for them.
If you're trying to cancel a mafia movie because they're bad people, I need you to reevaluate yourself.
Right. So, and The Gentleman has a killer cast.
Yeah.
Just an absolute, just monsters on that in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to be pretty good. Look up the Rotten Tomatoes on that. I'm going to guess 82.
I'm going to go with a 75.
Okay. Let's see.
75 on the dot!
On the dot!
Ooh. Love it.
Motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's good enough for me to watch it.
Yeah, we'll give it a watch.
All right. So, guys, if you haven't already, look up the set list for Bonnaroo. If you're going, let us know.
Yeah.
If you're like, fuck that shitty list, how could you guys like these names? Let
Who
us
would
know.
you prefer there as a headliner, though?
Good
If you're going to
question.
complain, let us know who you'd prefer.
You gotta have answers.
Yeah.
You gotta have answers. I don't want to hear complaints.
Come to
without
us with solutions.
Yes. All right. What's next, my friend?
Let's see. What do we got? What do we got in the scroll here?
What do we got in the scroll? What do we got?
Oh,
in the
Mario's
scroll?
dead.
Mario's
Mario's
dead. Mario's dead.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit. Yeah. March 31st is the day that Mario died.
March 10th was his day.
March 10th was his day, and now March 31st,
He's dead.
he's dead.
Yeah.
Apparently, Nintendo decided that this was the day that they were going to remove three of the biggest releases, three of the biggest Mario titles that they've released for the Switch. They're going to stop selling them. So, Mario 3D All-Stars, the Battle Royale Super Mario game,
Yeah.
and I forgot what the last one was.
I'm looking it up just to verify here. Yeah, those two were the big ones that I recognized.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, this year is the 35th anniversary of Super Mario.
Yeah.
So it was part of a celebration that for some reason they're deciding to cut
Yeah.
sales for 3D All-Stars and Mario Bros 35. That I guess that's it.
And they've been super tight-lipped on why.
Super tight.
Super tight. And
yeah.
It's one of those things again. Whenever Nintendo makes a decision, and you're just like, why? What are you doing?
So the theory here has been that the reason why they're stopping sales for specifically the Mario 3D All-Stars, which is a collection of older Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
So Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, right? So they just kind of unceremoniously packaged them all together.
Yeah.
And the only specials in it are like the soundtracks.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're all together and you can play it on your Switch, which is fine. But for like their star player here, like you would expect them to do at least what like was done for Mega Man, where they have the Mega Man collections, and like those have a ton of extra features like concept art and like museum style content within it.
Are you saying Mega Man got better treatment than Super Mario?
I'm saying it. Oof. Yeah. And it's not like Mario. It's not like Mario. It's it's not like Nintendo can't do better.
Oh yeah,
they are the Disney of game developers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little disappointing what they did. I'm happy that we have it, but the fact that they're now not selling it, the theory has been they're just going to resell them each individually for more money. Doesn't take a genius to find that out, but
yeah,
you know, that's been the running theory. Because why else would they stop selling a Mario game?
Yeah,
it makes zero sense. I mean, the reason why they're stopping the Mario 35 deathmatch game, essentially,
Battle Royale,
is probably just because they don't want to keep paying for the servers.
Yeah,
but
what a cool idea to turn into a novelty by stopping it, because you're like, well, all right, we're done with this, so you're done with it.
So is it just artificial? I don't know, like artificially limiting the amount so that people want to buy it more in the time that's available? Because that seems like a smart idea in the moment, but then you think about all the people who are buying Switches to this day, and they're missing out on all of those $60 purchases.
Yep. And think about this. think about a Battle Royale game that takes place within not just the side-scrolling Mario games, but all of the Mario games, right? Think about the race up to the first stage or the second stage in Mario 64, where you race up the mountain. Right?
Yeah.
Think about 35 Marios in different colors, bumping each other off, throwing each other off, trying to get. It's like what was that game that came out that like had everybody going, that Wipeout style game?
Oh yes. Oh no. What's it called?
I'm sorry guys.
What's it called?
I mean, they had fucking pop culture just in a stranglehold for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then lost it.
It is Fortnite. No. Oh man.
It's not Wipeout, but it's something out maybe?
It's something similar to that.
But anyway, it would be, keep looking because I need to know. But it would be something similar to that, where just it looks like 100 players when it's only like 35, 40 players trying to get up this narrow mountain, and who can get there first. I mean, easy. That's just something. I don't know how you don't. It always feels like if it's not one of
Fall
their
Guys.
Yeah. I don't know how if you're Nintendo, I don't know how you don't take advantage of these things. It always feels like they don't go far enough.
No, and I think they missed out on a perfect opportunity, because we've seen the collections of Mario games in the past. Mm-hmm. The 2D Marios. That trilogy that came out for the SNES way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see them give again like a Mega Man collection. I think it's like called Legacy or something. Treatment of those games and like, you know, spruce them up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's wild that Capcom beat Nintendo to the punch to something that, like, Mega Man is one of my favorite games ever. And yet, I mean, there's so many of them, and after a while, you're just like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought 2 of the Mega Man collections, and I ran through a couple of them, and after a while, you're just like, I can't keep playing this.
It's hard.
I can't keep doing
It's
this.
hard.
And Mario is not the same. Mario is like endlessly entertaining, endlessly fun.
There's just a magic with all the Mario 2D games.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Incredible. So a missed opportunity, if it is just a capitalistic endeavor of we can make more money if we sell them separately.
Yeah.
This was a limited time event thing, and if you miss the boat, you miss the boat.
Well, at least sell it for the rest of the year, right? You know, get the 35th anniversary all the way out.
At least, right? At
Yeah.
least. I mean, and then it would actually make sense.
Yeah. And there's been some people theorizing they're going to do a 3 All-Stars 2 and include, like, I don't know, some of the more recent games. But
Yeah, I guess like Galaxy 2.
yeah, Galaxy 2 is, like, huge on that list because it's, you know, people love it as much as the first one.
And people were really upset that they came out with the 3, and they were like, why not put Galaxy 2 on there?
Yeah.
Galaxy 2 is better than Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll say this. It did force me to buy them.
Yeah. When did you just recently bought it?
I literally bought it when you sent it to me and said,
Okay.
today's the last day you should buy it.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I might as well.
Nintendo enabler.
Yeah. This is your fault.
I know.
So I bought that, and I told you I bought Hades.
Right.
'Cause I was
which,
like,
thank God.
yeah.
No
so
pun intended.
Yeah. So I'll say this.
It worked.
It worked. Yeah, it did work. I probably would have waited a long time. Like I waited on Breath of the Wild. I still haven't bought Breath of the Wild because I know it's going to go on sale again.
Yeah, it's one of those that you can wait for, and it will. Whenever you get to it, it's there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You don't need it right now, but it's going to sink in your time. You know.
Yeah.
I was going to say though, this is something that like, so even though the entire packaging of the Mario 3D All-Stars wasn't great, and we didn't have like a ton of extras with it, it's not like a real celebration of Mario as a franchise, it's still good to have just to have those games in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Right? And the most
Yeah.
recent thing. Unlike what Sony's doing currently with the Vita and PS3 marketplaces, which are closing down for good
Yeah.
this upcoming month.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still have my Vita. I still have games on there that I love, and I would love to come back to at some point and just, you know, recharge it every once in a while and
can't believe
get back to it.
Can't believe you still.
I do.
When would you go back to those games?
So it's the only place that I can play Persona 4. And I actually rebought Persona 3 because you heard my tragic story about what
did.
happened with that.
Yeah.
So I rebought it, the PS portable version of it.
Did you rebuy it after telling that story?
No.
Okay.
No, I bought it years ago.
Okay.
Years ago.
Oh right, yeah, you had it, but it just didn't feel the same. It's now sitting dormant,
Right.
but you need to go back to it
Some point.
to finish.
We have to go back to the island.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the fact that those games, and I mean, there are some straight out bangers on that system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people didn't pay it enough attention. It was overly expensive. You know, just kind of got swept under the rug.
Well, and they promised too much with it. It was basically supposed to be like this, like, mini PS3.
Yeah.
And, I mean, for all accounts, it kind of was.
It was, yeah, I mean, it was almost that.
Yeah.
It was like a PS2 Plus
Yeah.
on the go.
I mean, I remember when you got it and I think you were playing Uncharted on it.
Yeah.
And I was blown away at how good it looked on that little screen.
Yep.
And I mean, I haven't played your Vita in a long time, so I can't judge if it still looks that good. But I do remember vividly you letting me play it and just thinking, Jesus Christ, this is where we're going. This is where technology is going. This looks amazing in my hands.
Still has a better screen than the Nintendo.
The Switch?
Yeah.
That's saying something.
It's
because the Switch looks
It's got
great.
an OLED. Like, it's a way better fidelity screen than what we have in the Switch.
Yeah.
But it costs more. So a lot of people said, nah.
Well, it just wasn't marketed right. You know, it's right in the middle of the lifespan of the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
You're hearing rumblings of the PS4, and then you come out with this handheld that's like a souped up version of the PSP, and the PSP already didn't do that well.
Well, it did great based on piracy.
Yeah.
Everyone bought it so they could crack it and then put a bunch of original PlayStation games on it.
It was just so easy to do, dude. It was just, I'm not saying that I did it. I'm just saying that I heard that
it was super easy.
It was easy to do.
Super fun.
So
yeah.
you gotta be on top of stuff.
And there was a theory going around. I know I'm talking all about video game theories.
Video game
You can call me an insider. Or a nerd.
And now, video game theories with Obesius.
So there was a theory floating around that Sony didn't really care because it was selling units. And they just wanted it in people's hands basically more than anything else.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
If all you care about is the unit and not helping the devs with their games on it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. To a point, you know, there's economics involved with that too, though.
I mean, now Sony would have a vested interest in people not pirating the games.
Yeah,
because
well, they're selling at a deficit too.
Right.
So they want, obviously, the hardware in as many people's hands as possible, but they also want people to, A, keep playing it, and B, keep buying games for it.
Right. But back then, I can imagine them going, I mean, as long as they got it.
Well, especially late in the life cycle where they're not really even making new games for it anymore. And there's like, just buy them. Why not? Get them off the shelves, you know? But that didn't happen with the Vita so much. I mean, it did to a point. I remember seeing someone pirating, I guess, a browser or unlocking a browser on the Vita to watch porn on, and that was like a revelation. And that was interesting.
I don't know anything about that.
No.
I don't know anything
Rumble
about
feature.
Rumble. But the rumble on my taint. Anyway. Yeah, so.
Was that a Prodigy song?
But the rumble on my taint. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that you look at the comments from the Sony CEO and he's just like, he's so dismissive.
Yeah, he said, "Who cares?" essentially about old games.
Yeah, and you've got all these people who are like, dude. I mean, there's an entire community of people who, like, that's all we do is.
And it's been indicative of their stance on this, exactly how they've reacted to it since the PS3. Because you remember the original, the OG chunky George Foreman grill PS3s.
Yeah,
those were backwards compatible.
Yep.
And they cut out that feature.
Yeah.
And they made more consoles without that feature because it was cheaper, and they assumed nobody wanted to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not true. I mean, the vast majority of people probably don't want to go back and play their old games, but I don't know. It's a good PR move for the vocal minority to get on your side.
Yeah.
At very least. You know, and it's a value proposition too, because, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of dads out there that are buying their kids a new console and going, well, the Xbox can definitely play like everything since the Xbox 360 at the least. I'm gonna go with that because I have games from when I was a kid. Yeah, and I'll just pass them along and let little Johnny play Halo 2 sometime. You know,
and that would be so much fun, dude. The idea of, I can tell you, if you told me that the PS5 disk drive was going to be 100% backwards compatible, and I would have no troubles with it, that would definitely sway me to buy that. Right now, I am hard pressed on getting the digital version. There's almost nothing that you can tell me that's going to make me buy the disc drive version.
Yeah.
But if you told me
4K movies
that, I mean, think about how many movies are streaming right now. Adam, I'm not going to have a collection of 4K movies in my house. I'm just not going to do it.
Why am I your friend?
You're my friend so that I can come to your house and watch the 4K movie.
What do I come to your house for, Marco?
That's a good question.
All right.
Nothing. Don't come to my house. There's
All
nothing.
right.
The dogs.
It's true. I haven't seen them in a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll bring them.
All
I'll
right.
bring them, and they'll be a special guest on the episode.
I want chicken wings every time I come over.
Okay.
That's my request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
You got an air fryer?
Mm-hmm. Of course. I still have the big one. Yeah. I busted it out for now my dad he now has discovered the greatness of the air fryer.
As
So-
we all will someday.
One day you all will understand how great air fryers are. Right now you laugh, but you won't.
No.
You won't.
No. You will eat.
You will eat. So he'll make like burgers or something, and he starts to preheat the oven for the fries, and I'm like, Papa, come on.
You know better.
You know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, 4K movies is your responsibility.
Okay.
But if you told me that I could play, because I still have a lot of PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
A lot. Like more than I should have. I have like fucking, I've got a couple of NBA Lives. I've got some Madden games. I've got Onimusha. I've got Way of the Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
I have Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and Chain of Memories. I have, you know what game that I always go back and play? Snake Eater.
It's a good one.
I've gone back and played Snake Eater. I mean, at least 10 times I've gone back and played that game.
Yeah.
Anytime that I
for
can.
the theme song alone.
For the theme song alone. I mean, it's just such a. What a underrated, often not talked about
Yeah.
addition to the lexicon. It just seems to get leaped because Metal Gear Solid 4 is so good that you leapfrog 3.
Is it? Is
I mean,
4 so good? I don't think it is. I think it's a lesser game than 3.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think 3's better than 2. I know that's tough. I know it's tough. And look, I understand the conversation about it. I do think 3's a better game only because, and this is a detriment to a lot of people, it has more mechanics, the camouflage mechanic and all that.
Yep.
That makes it a bit of a tougher game
Yes.
to me, and a bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But it makes the end game so much more worth it.
Mm-hmm. So the conversation of, I think, one of the reasons that Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game of all time is the narrative, what they do with it.
Yeah.
The voice acting, the way it's acted. It's anime levels of dramatic, but it's
And convoluted.
but it's American levels of well voice acted that it draws you in.
And action and it's strangely realistic from a military standpoint, but then also mixed in with like anime magic and weirdness.
This fantasism that's like, oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's like the most charming thing that you can get out of some of these like super serious properties. We were talking about Twin Peaks, for instance,
Right.
Off the show. And one of the charms of that show is that it starts off as this very serious murder mystery, and how and then it goes into these areas of melodrama, mysticism, magic, to a point where you're like, what the fuck?
Where are we?
And if you can do that in a way that obviously is not realistic, but you can pull it off narrative wise,
There has to be a cohesiveness to it all.
right? And I think that Metal Gear Solid does that.
It does.
So
it's a weird magic that it works with.
When you're talking about the narrative versus the mechanics of the game, for instance, I think that that's the conversation that you're having between 2 and 3. 3 is almost straight up a 60s spy
it's
film.
a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With some of the villains are obviously you know, you get into that, but for the most part it's a traditional kind of story, right? But the mechanics, you're so right. Way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
So ahead of their time that even when I was a kid playing, I'm just like, why is this so important?
I just have to
why
wander in the jungle?
They spend so much time.
I have to eat a
I
snake?
have to eat. I have to like wrap these bandages. I have to put on the right camouflage at the right time.
You have to heal all your wounds?
What is this?
Accurately?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a splint on?
So ahead of its time.
You can see the girl's boobies?
So good, dude. So good. But I will say, I think that Metal Gear 2, say what you want about Raiden.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal Gear Solid 2, say what you want about Raiden. Narrative versus mechanics. Mechanics, it depends on what you prioritize in a video game.
I know this has become Metal Gear Hour, but so Metal Gear Solid 2, I think it stretches farther. The story's bigger.
Yeah.
It becomes this global cover-up story, essentially. Whereas 3 is all about this soldier who is a spy who falls in love on the battlefield, also has this master who has trained him and gets double-crossed.
And he's in love with her.
Kind of. And there's so many twists and turns within that, but it feels like a more intimate, smaller story.
Yeah.
It also has to do with nukes, but you know, it's smaller as far as Metal Gear Solid games go, and I like that about it.
And for all intents and purposes, it seems more realistic than most Metal Gear games.
Yeah, it's a more personal story, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that about it. And also, beyond the mechanics and stuff like that, I just think that what makes it special to me is it is our kind of first introduction of Big Boss as a character that we're playing as.
Yeah.
And giving him humanity and understanding why he eventually becomes the bad guy in this entire story. And that's what I love about it too. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love 5 so much too, because you get even more of that within 5, because it's okay. So there's a PSP game that you have to play to really get 5 as well. So before you start 5, look up the PSP game.
I did.
Okay, get the full PSP game, because the PSP game is a continuation of 3. They have to play to understand that, which I played on the Vita in their Metal Gear Solid collection, which is available on the Vita, which won't be soon. So that's I think it's really tough. Okay, but I almost like Big Boss more than Solid Snake.
Wow,
I almost do. Because he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the real guy.
He's the real guy.
Yeah.
They modeled all of the clones. We're getting super deep here. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Play Metal Gear Solid. I don't know what to tell
but
you.
here's the thing. All of this to say you're not going to be able to experience this in a couple months. You're
Right.
not going to be able to get this because it's going to be taken from you. And for what? Because the Sony CEO is like, nobody
Nobody
to play that.
cares.
Dude, you couldn't be more wrong about your own fan base. And it's these fucking guys, dude. These suits sit up in these ivory towers thinking they know best. And this is how you get cyberpunk situations. This is how you get, well, I won't say Nintendo situations because we don't know what the end game here is.
Yeah.
But
Nice pun, by the way. Yeah.
there's so many times where if these bigwigs and suits would just listen to the people on the ground floor who were actually playing these games, they could cultivate so much goodwill.
Yeah.
And they choose not to for various reasons.
They've got to know. They have to see
Yeah.
the people clamoring. And maybe they see it as this, necessary evil in the development of the new versus the old. Like trying to say, well, PlayStation 1 was great, but we're moving past that, and now you guys are gonna have to buy everything on PS5. And I would understand more if there was a PS1 store on the PS5.
Yeah,
but that's not available.
Yeah,
that's just not there yet. Maybe that's what they're planning. We'll see. I mean, hopefully they go the Nintendo route and at least give us a handful of classics that we can go back to and revisit from the PS1 era. That'd be awesome. Just a handful of, and they've kind of done that already on PS5 with the Plus collection, where you have a handful of last gen's kind of killer games. So maybe that's in the works, and maybe they'll kind of sweeten the pot with that, which I'd really appreciate. But I mean, we'll see. But there's going to be these lost generations of games that, sure, maybe don't hold a candle to what we're playing nowadays, but it would still be important for, not to make it over important, but the video game culture that we experienced as kids, to be able to at least look back and go, this is what we were playing back in the day, and give some context at least to the history of video games. Yeah. Because without that physical hardware, it's lost forever.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other thing is, do you want us to download emulators and shit and have like these broken versions of these games?
Well, and especially when you're leaving, if you want to talk to the bigwigs, you have to let them know they're leaving money on the table.
Yeah. Yes, 1,000%. Look how much money, if you just said, all right, fuck it, fine. Here's a PS1 store, and here's all of these games that would cost us virtually nothing to port over.
Yeah.
With doing nothing, just letting you play these versions of the game, and instead we're just going to make it impossible for you to do. Okay, so I'll hold on to my old hardware, or I'll download an emulator.
Right, for free. Right.
That's like,
when you could be charging me $5 a pop for a PS1 game.
Yeah. I think the problem is they're basing all of their findings on PlayStation Now. But the problem is PlayStation.
Who uses PlayStation Now?
Exactly. PlayStation Now is so clunky and stupid, and it just doesn't work. And I think this is what I'm theorizing because of his statement was basically like, we gave people the option for backwards compatibility, and they didn't actually use it, and so fuck them. Basically, is what he said.
You had your chance to prove your point, but
yeah, and I think that he's basing all of that on just PlayStation Now. I don't think because what other opportunities has Sony given us for backwards compatibility other than being able to go back and use PlayStation Now to play old games?
Yeah, I mean, back in the PS3 days, there was a PlayStation 1 store that you could download those games, and it was on the Vita market too. That's why everybody's like, all right, well, I'm going to buy as many OG PlayStation games for my Vita now before the store's closed, because I'm not going to be able to play those games anymore unless I physically have a disc and physically have the PS1 hardware. Which, how many people have that? Like, not many.
I have a PS2.
Yeah.
And it still works. I have the slim version. And that's how I play some of my PS1 games. I don't have a lot of PS1 games, though. I don't have a lot of PS1 games. All of the games that I've held on to are PS2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, I would rather, I mean, it's fun to bust out the PS2 sometimes, but after a while, it's like, dude, I don't want to go on Amazon and find another adapter so that I can play it on my TV that only has like 2 ports on it now.
Yeah, the only way I see that really feasible is if I have like a den and I just keep like an old ass TV with a VHS tape player and an N64 and a PS1 hooked up to it.
Yeah, if you have like your
with a VGA cable.
If you have if you're lucky enough to have like a game room where you can have all of your shit hooked up, that would be the dream for me, is to have like a shitty TV in the corner and have everything that needs to be hooked up to that, RCA cables and stuff like that.
Put on like a public school rolly cart.
Yes, roll it out when you want to play like fucking Smash Bros. Melee and shit.
Yep.
Dude, that's not
a bad idea.
Yeah. It's too bad, man. It's too bad that these companies are like, look, we're moving on to bigger and better things. It's like, yeah, you can do that, and that's awesome, but don't forget about the little guy.
Come on.
Don't forget about the little guy.
Come on.
Yeah. We should probably review these and get the
We
guy.
should probably review these.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's brew was from the Sideward Brewing Company. It is the Prey on Insanity IPA. Adam, what'd you think of this brew, sir?
I really like this beer.
Yeah.
I really like this beer. I was a little worried because there are some Sideward IPAs, not many, but a handful. And it's kind of, I don't know, something I've felt in the past about a lot of our local brews that sometimes make their IPAs almost a little too much, with a little too much bite.
Mm-hmm.
Hit you in the back of the throat, a little too bitter, almost with like, there's almost like an acidic kind of like back of your throat feel that's very uncomfortable for me, especially towards the end of the drink. That tends to be more with the hazies, I find. Maybe it's the sediment or something that just kind of gets lodged at the very bottom of the cans or something. I don't know the science behind it. However,
Sound like a scientist.
I say that to say this. This did not suffer from that. Very smooth, a little sweet, but in a way that's pleasant for an IPA lover. And again, I'll go back to a word we always like to go back to with beers that we enjoy. Balance. So very well balanced. Not super frilly. There's no apricot and, rubber tire notes in here.
No rubber hose. No garden hose.
No garden hose. But great flavor. And, not over the top at a 6.2%.
Yep.
So I don't feel like, hammered.
Do it.
I'm going to give it a 5.
There it is.
I'm going to give it a 5.
There it is.
I'm going to give it a 5 for all those reasons.
A 5 on episode 305. Yeah, I mean, I'm hard pressed to argue with you on that. The thing about Sideward that I really like and respect is that a lot of their beers are very easy, drinkable beers. They're doing something really, really good in that. Even when they kind of go off and try to do something weird or interesting or, off the beaten path sort of, it all kind of goes back to, and I don't know if this is a conscious decision of
intentional.
This has to be drinkable at the end of the day. It can't be something that's so far off people's palates that we're challenging them.
Yeah.
We are asking them to think about these things more sophisticated, I guess. But at the end of the day, it has to be drinkable. And I don't know if that's a conscious decision, but it feels to me that it is. Because everything that we've had from them has always kind of circled back to, at the end of the day, this shit's just good. It just tastes good.
Yeah.
It just tastes good. It's easy to drink.
Crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fuck, man. I don't want to give it a...
You peer pressured me. Go for it. Do it.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 5. This is a 5 out of 6 beer.
Yeah.
It's a really good IPA. And, I've just had... I don't want to brag.
Oh,
but I've had so much beer in the past. So many different kinds of beer in the past, couple of days. That sometimes you wouldn't just come back home with an IPA.
Yeah.
And when you can do it with something this good, it's welcomed. Yeah. It's welcomed.
Bring it all back home.
Yeah. So, a unanimous 5 out of 6 for the Prey on Insanity IPA from the Sideward Brewing Company. Adam, you think that we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Adam says that we got it, then that means we got it. This has been the One Beer In Podcast. For myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Huh?
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer. Like, share, and subscribe.
You know the rest.
And have a beautiful evening.
We love you. Snake! Snake!
took me a couple seconds to like.
Someone to say